Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to Facebook Live with myself. And you are very welcome. If you're watching live, or if you're watching are you on Facebook? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on YouTube? Or are you watching on replay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Otherwise, it feels very lonely. But welcome. So it's 2024. Um, how is everybody doing? We'll just wait for some people to come in, which takes a few minutes. I don't have a topic and I don't have a guest, so it's ask me anything, anything at all. Let me just find there we go. And if you ask in the comments, sometimes I can't see who you are. So don't worry, I'm sorry, I'm not being rude if I don't use your name, but the system doesn't kind of show me who's who all of the time. So yeah, I went to a school this morning. I went to one of I shouldn't have favorites, should I? Um, I went to International College in Hong Kong this morning. And so it was very nice to take a family there. It's very far away, but very good and very necessary for me to visit all of the schools every so often. So these next 2 weeks, actually, I think I'm doing like 10 schools in 2 weeks. So might be yeah, and next week I've got a special guest on Facebook Live. So hopefully I'm going to be awake and alert for that. I'll tell you about who that is in just a moment. So I can see that people coming in now. Welcome, welcome. It always takes a while. Ask me anything about international schools. I was just saying that I went to a school visit this morning. I'm doing another one tomorrow, and I'm doing another 8, 9, or 10 in the next 2 weeks. So very, very interesting. Sometimes I tag along with my families. Sometimes I go along on my own, and I get a different experience depending on which style of visit I do. And sometimes we do mystery shopping tours. And I also I jump on some of the webinars for some of the schools as well. Sometimes I'm there, and sometimes I'm incognito, I should say. And wow, that's another whole different skill set, isn't it, for a school that, to do a webinar, to do it well, it's not easy. So are you joining webinars for schools? Are you doing your school visits? You might be doing that now for 2024 entry, or even just a little bit of extra, early preparation for 2025 entry. Let me know, how old are your children? We do a lot of topics. We do a lot of, I get a lot of questions for little children. But actually, I just took a look yesterday. Our current families is a very, very equal split between primary and secondary. So that's very interesting to me. Thank you for your question. Well, that's a general one, isn't it? Let me get to it, and I'll get some more questions to come in. Thank you for your question. I'm afraid I can't see your name. Got to think about how to answer that. That's a big question. So maybe I should give you a little bit of a teaser for our guest next week. So the promo has gone out. The event is live in our on all of our channels. And so what we're talking about is I mean, people often talk about gifted children, but it's complicated. So if you think your child might be exceptional in some way, and possibly equally exceptional in a different way for something else. So this is the session that you need to listen to next week with John Larkin. So yeah, just a little bit of a whet your appetite, because I'm super excited about that, and that is going to be some very, very good content for those of you who've got children, probably slightly older, maybe like older than 7 or 8 and upwards. So if you have any other questions, then put them in the chat. I'll answer this one, but thank you for your question. This is a very big one, And I do definitely answer this in the webinars and the master classes that I run. And I need to schedule another one. I think I'm going to do it on the 15th, the 17th of this month, but haven't got around to it yet. What's the difference between an international and a private school? Now, these are technical terms, believe it or not. And I think that the way that the government will define a school, whether it's international or private school, is perhaps different to how a parent would define the schools. And I think I have a question for you is, why do we need to know the difference? Okay. Why do we need to know the difference? Actually, let me give you the technical definition first of all. All international schools are private, but not all private schools are international. So actually, international schools are a subset of private schools. Now, what do they all have in common? Because they are all private schools. They all are fee-paying schools. That's about what they have in common. Thereafter, every school will differ. So thereafter, I find it a little bit of a false distinction to say international schools are like this and private schools are like that, because that's not the case. That's not so. You have to say this school and look at each school on its own and evaluate it against your criteria. So let me just add also that I think, in the market in Hong Kong, most private schools are local in are local style. They are local in their interpretation of what of the pedagogy of how they teach, of what they teach, and in the language that they teach. There are more local style private schools than there are international style private schools. So I would urge you to zoom out and actually, what are you looking for in a school? And you might find one or two schools happen to be international and they meet your requirements, and maybe another one or two schools happen to be private and they also meet your requirements. So why does it matter? So I hope that answers your question. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if it does answer your question or not. So does anyone have anything, any questions? It is a funny time, and I think it was a couple of weeks ago that I did a session for my community, which is on getting comfortable with uncertainty, because a lot of you and a lot of us who submitted applications back in September, October, the result is now waitlist. So what do we do with a waitlist result? We have to get comfortable with, to a certain extent, waiting, although there are things that we can do. And that was a topic that I did, I think it was last week. So yeah, I mean, how are you feeling? Do you have a wait list result? Do you have several? Do you have more assessments and interviews coming up? And how's the general? How do you feel about all of that? I also wanted to mention. I did mention the community actually. So this is something that's new that I started last year, which has been going it's going well. I think we all enjoy it. And so I'm thinking I'm going to open that up to more people. So if you would be interested in joining like-minded parents in a different platform, this is a private community where there's chats, there's topics, there are video lessons, there are weekly meetings with myself. If that's something that you would be interested in, we have a monthly membership, and my aim is genuinely to make it affordable and accessible for everyone. If that's something that you're interested in, click this link. I'm going to find the link. I think it's topschoolsadmissions.com/book. I think that's the one. And book a call with me and let's have a chat about whether or not this is something that you'd be interested in joining. So we don't have a lot of spots. We are opening it up for a few more spots because I'm going to do additional sessions in the week, and I'm just working that out. So to see how many people are interested, and I can see that more people are joining on now. I'm just going to check this link before I post it for you. I think that this is the right one. Topschooladmissions.com book. Yeah, that's the one. So there it goes. So just to, that's a community with a low monthly membership, where both parents would be welcome to join and consume all of the content, consume all of the resources, meet with me once a week, have a direct line of communication with myself and other members of the community. So we're starting that again in March. Well, actually, it's ongoing, but we're taking in new members. So let me know if there's something that you'd be interested in. And that's the link. Book a call with me, and we'll see if you'd be a good fit for that. If there are no other questions, you know what? I did have a question that came in through one of the surveys that we had out, but can't remember it just now, so sorry. If you want questions answered, this is the best place to come on a Thursday at 6 p.m. So school visits, monthly membership, waiting, and yeah, and any other questions? If not, we'll keep it short. So next week, don't forget, next week with John Larkin, giving the gift of challenge. So we're going to be discussing very able learners and some of the strategies for, stretch and challenge, which is something that we get a lot of in Hong Kong. So I think this is where the questions start to come in. When I say that I'm going off, then they start piling in, but I'm not seeing any at the moment. So tell you what, I'm going to end it. You snooze, you lose. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll get to them. And I'll see you next week, which is going to be a super duper special discussion with John. So be there, and good night.